Hi, and welcome to my channel. This is the FJ40 restoration project. This is part of the Grumpy Gardener channel. So anyway, my name is Kerry Cox, and thanks for stopping by. Just wanted to give you a quick overview of what I'm doing and where I'm at right now. This is going to go at the very beginning, probably right after the first purchasing video, but just let you know where I'm at now and how I got here. So anyway, just want to give you a quick overview of my garage setup and how it's going, and then we'll go from there. So here's the garage, and at least my side of the garage. My wife's car sits on the other side, but here's where I've set up my workshop. Have pretty much everything in these two containers down there, right behind the creeper. Got a drill press, a wire wheel, got everything set up to do some zinc plating, and down here we have some zinc plating items that I'll be setting up here shortly, hopefully within the next week or so. So I have a lot of parts that I want to work on. Right now I'm focusing on the U-joints on the leaf springs. So once I get those all zinc plated and yellow chromated, should be pretty good. So just have a bunch of tools and utilities and things that I'm going to be using over the next few months as I try to get things up and running. Here I have a 80-gallon air compressor that I purchased online, and it's been working out extremely well, along with my Harbor Freight media blasting cabinet. I'm creating a dolly of sorts on the bottom. So here are some blocks of wood that I had pulled out of my garden and cut to specs so that I'm gonna then put together with some wheels that I picked up at Harbor Freight, and hopefully get those mounted on the bottom of the media blasting cabinet. So here's my dust collector, here's my shop vac that I've been using. Also, everything that I've pulled out of and from the FJ40, I've been able to find spots for it up on these shelves here. So here we have, right over there, we have the gas tank, some of the fender parts, and then from the heating system, and just on and on and on. As you can see, I pulled the actual body off and was able to use this little pulley system and set it up on its side and have a bunch of items hidden back in there. You can see the doors and part of the hood and other items that I was able to store over there. So that said, let's just take a look at the frame now. So I was able to get the engine out of the frame, no problem really, as well as the transmission. Just have to take it easy and just follow the instructions. Used my jack there, and here we have the leaf springs and the front axle. Tried lifting those out the other day, but because of the burr fields and everything else that's around those knuckles, was unable to get it out from within that spot. So I'll have to be taking the leaf springs off and putting them separately, and then hopefully being able to tackle the axle itself. So as you can see, was able to get everything pretty much off the frame itself, and we'll be working on that hopefully in the next week or two. So speaking of which, over here I have my washer, my pressure washer. I have an attachment for that so it can then pull up some just play yard sand and use that for both pressure washing as well as sand blasting. So it's more of a dustless sand blasting using water. And I'll be getting into all those hard to reach spots here within the frame itself. So as you can see, I've taken off the rear axle, got that all taken care of. It's sitting on a couple dollies, have a couple dollies ready to go for the front axle. Here I have my engine mount ready to go for the engine as soon as I can get the bell housing off. Just so many things to do, so little time to do it. Got my welding set up here. Really wanted a Miller welder, but I could not justify the cost of spending, you know, a couple $1,000s when I could get something for a quarter the price over at Harbor Freight. And it's worked out really well for me. Got some gas, some C25 gas going, and I was able to fill in a lot of the holes that the previous owner had either drilled himself or that had just developed over time. So I got everything pretty much cleaned up. As you can see down here, here's a spot where I was able to weld it and then just kind of grind it back to the original. So also over here we have the 4 wheels. I'll be taking those off the rims and redoing the rims here fairly soon. just one of the many projects still that need to be attended to. And like I said earlier, we have the ambulance doors back there. Here we have a quick peek at the hood and some other side doors back in there. Just basically a lot of stuff that's just sitting around that needs to be addressed, and it needs to be cleaned up, restored, and then at some point in time, put all back together. So that's where I'm at right now. We're pretty much at the midway point. We've stripped it all the way down to the basic essentials. I've ground off the rust and dirt and cleaned out all the grime and crud from within the frame, pretty much. Right over here within the frame, you can tell now it's fairly open and fairly clear. When I first started, it was full of dirt. It was basically compacted all the way in there and looked more like concrete. So I had to clean all that out using a screwdriver and compressed air and whatever else I could, and just had piles and piles of dirt and grime all over the floor and got that all out. Dirtied up the floor quite a bit, but we're getting there, and at some point in time, we'll get it all cleaned off. So that said, our next project is to take these leaf springs off and look at getting replacement ones. I want to get some new ones, and also taking these leaf springs off, getting the axle removed, getting these burr fields off, redoing the knuckles, so on and so forth. So that's where I'm at. A lot of fun projects coming up, talking about zinc plating, yellow chromate, just doing some cleaning using the bench press or the press here, and just cleaning things off, taking apart the engine, just a whole aspect of different things that I'll be adding as we go. So thanks again for stopping by. Appreciate it, and see you on the next one.